All right, so I'm going to record this. So in case you guys, oh, there we go. Excellent. Thank you. So I'm going to record this. So if you guys want to play back on it, you're more than welcome to. Um, Fabulous. So the idea in an atomic structure, most of it is empty space between the nucleus, which is protons and neutrons. Then you have rings outside of electrons that are traveling around in multidimensional aspects, which we've just learned. We thought that they circulated like planets around the sun, but they don't. They actually move interdimensionally, which is super cool, but we're not going to quite get into that. That's the quantum physics and quantum mechanics aspect of things. And that's going to come when we start talking about manifestation and vibration. So, have you all heard of the idea when it comes to, y'all remember The Secret, right? By Rhonda Byrne, the great book about raise your frequency, raise your vibration, and you can manifest the life of your dreams. And they tell you to raise your vibration and they tell you to raise your frequency, but they don't tell you how. The only thing that they tell you is be grateful, have gratitude. Gratitude is the fastest way, love is the fastest way, and they are. But when you are in a situation where you can't necessarily find something to be grateful for, it's really, really hard to um, start that process of elevating your vibration. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to start small. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have shoes on your feet? Do you have clothes on your back? Do you have food to eat at least once a day? So these tiny little things, depending on where you're at in your life, can build. They open up your mindset to looking at the positives rather than focusing so hard on the negatives, the what I don't have. A person I know is in a very, very bad physiologic state. They are basically living life with one foot on a banana peel and the other foot in the grave. And when we talk, every time they talk, they never have anything good to say. They talk about this person gave them a sandwich. Yeah, I'm grateful. They always do that. But everything else sucks. But everything else sucks. It's terrible. So this person will never be able to raise their vibration to a point where they will be able to enjoy or manifest better things in their life until they begin to look at the things to be grateful for. That person who provides them with a sandwich every time they see them, because it's a scheduled visit. Every time they see them, they bring them a sandwich. And instead of focusing on how bad everything is elsewhere and all the bad things that came about, focus on the good thing. Focus on this one person who does the nice thing. And when you do that, your heart opens up. Dr. Joe Dispenza has done research for decades about something called heart coherence frequency. And this is an electromagnetic frequency. The human body emits electromagnetic frequencies. The heart actually emits, I think it's something like 5,000 times more powerful electromagnetic frequency than the brain does, which is kind of mind blowing when you think about it. So let's bring in the vibration from the thinking small, going back down to the strings. Everything is always moving. And that means you are too. And they're moving in vibrational frequency. The lower the frequency, the longer the wavelength. So a wavelength is actually, y'all know what, let me see if I can pull this up here. What a, let me see here. Oh, good gravy. Um, hmm. I'll find it. Uh, a wavelength basically is a sine wave. It goes up and down. You have a crest and you have a trough, and then there's space in between. A wavelength is the distance between two crests or two troughs. The closer they are together, the higher the frequency, but the shorter the wavelength or the length between each crest or trough. Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to go with yeses all over the place on this one because it's, relatively easy concept. Low frequency vibration, when you're sitting on your porch or your patio or whatever, and you feel that giant truck driving down the street or that car driving down the street that's got the bass so high that it pounds you right in the abdomen, right in the bread box. That's low frequency vibration. It has very long wavelength, but it has more penetration through walls, through bricks, through cement, through the ground than high frequency vibrations do. High frequency vibration, think laser, pinpoint, sharp, very fast, very hot, very high rate of vibration. And this is where you want to get up to. Hatred, anger, lack. I don't know if you've all heard it before, probably have, but when you focus on what you don't have, you're creating a mindset of what you lack rather than what you do have. So that's why they say focus on, I have a roof, I have a car that works, I have clothes on my back. I have a job. I have these things. I am blessed. Look at all the blessings in your life and appreciate those. And the what you don't have, don't worry about it because you don't have it. So don't waste your energy on it. Your energy is precious. You want to focus on the things that are beneficial to you, the things that will fulfill you because they already do fulfill you. So if you have great relationships with your friends, focus on those great relationships and you will build them even deeper and stronger and better because of the fact that you're already open to increasing the vibration to the next level up, if that makes sense. So if it doesn't make sense, go ahead and put in the chat that, I don't get it. Stop, go somewhere else. Oh, okay. All right, we're cruising. We're doing good with time. This can go as long as you guys, up until 12:30 if y'all need it, but I originally set it for like about an hour with some, Q&A time. So we have gone through starting small. The smallest unit of existence is actually vibration. And that is just energy. So it is not coherent in the sense that you can feel it punch something, except for those low frequency vibrations. The high ones, they go right past us. They ricochet off solid material. They ricochet off bricks, off cement, off metal. But, all right, cool. Thank you. But they also enable your energetic field. The high frequency vibrations enable your energetic field to expand to the point where you begin to literally connect with people and things that have a similar vibrational field. If you go back in time and you think about the people that you hung out with when you were young, when you were a kid, maybe you hung out with people who it didn't quite live up to the legalities of the situation, or people from the wrong side of the tracks, or even people from the right side of the tracks. The old adage of guilt by association actually does play into this because of the fact that you are amplifying your energy when you are with somebody whose energy is similar. If you're hanging out with somebody who is doing something that you don't like, who's being, nefarious and cruel, vindictive, whatever you want to call it, their frequency is low, their vibration is low if they're users and manipulators and narcissists, people that just want to take from you. They have low frequency vibrations. You are going to feel bad when you're with them. You're going to feel that something is wrong in your guts about being with this person. You may wind up with a headache. You may wind up just feeling like just dirty, skeezy in a way. Whereas when you're with people who are more aligned, I know, right? But when you're with people who are more aligned, you brighten each other's vibrations, you grow each other's vibrations, you expand each other's vibrations, and you become lighter in the karmic, the auric sense of light, rather than that deep, heavy, cumbersome, weighted, oh my God, I feel like the world is just crushing down on me. You begin to see more of the brightness around you. You begin to see it in other people too. And this is kind of where human fellow feeling or love does kind of come in, because it really does. Um, they're high frequency vibrations. Caring for another person, loving another person, allowing yourself to be loved is one of the hardest things in the world sometimes. And that usually stems back to what we learn as children, oftentimes, what we were raised to believe. That's a whole different talk. The idea of programming, and it's generational programming, and it stems back from the program that your parents learned, and their parents taught them, and their parents taught them ad infinitum, all the way down through history, from the moment we could begin to talk and tell people what we expect of them and who we expect them to be, without appreciating and understanding who they are and what their ideas of who they are should be and could be and will be. So there's a lot of cross communication from expectation from authorities. And this is by design in this world, that you are meant to be controlled. You are meant to be put down, held down, and made submissive. So yes, generational trauma. And it is a thing, and healing it is very important. Now we're going to move on. So we have the basis in vibration. We have the basis in the small units of energy that we really are. We are just conglomerations of units of energy. If you need more information on that, feel free to go into Quanta and look up the double slit experiment. It's really not applicable for this short of a session. But the idea is that energy can be either wave or particle. The double slit experiment was an experiment done way back in the days of 1908, back in the ancient times of like 1908, I think it was. Might have been 18 something. Don't quote me on that. I have it written down somewhere. But the idea is that a photon of energy was shot through a piece of metal that had two slits in it. And it was anticipated that it should be, I think it was wave, because light waves, but it actually showed up as dots. Might have been the reverse. It's actually in the packet that is on my website. But the point is that they found out that whether the photon went through as a wave, which kind of gave it this lovely little knit-like looking pattern, versus the speckles of a Jackson Pollock painting or splatter painting, all the dots all over the place, was determined by whether or not the particle was being observed. It didn't matter by what. It didn't matter if it was a human being or if it was a machine, if it was a camera. The particle acted differently under observation, or I should say, the vibration, the energy packet acted differently under observation. So this is what's going to bring us to the idea of manifesting and why our frequency needs to match whatever it is that we want to manifest. If you want to manifest love in your life, you need to elevate your capacity to feel love, to accept love, and to give love. And in that case, like I said, the vibrations of the people you're going to start drawing in, you start feeding on each other's vibrations and growing them and glowing them up, as they're saying these days. Think of it in terms of, you can think of it as like a tidal wave of whatever it is, or you can think of it as a snowball rolling downhill and gathering more to grow greater and larger and more all-encompassing. And what that's going to do is that's going to keep increasing your vibration. The quantum physics / mechanics aspect of things has to do with these little packets of energy that we are. It has to do with the vibration of everything. It has to do with the mode of operation for attaining what you want by attaining and equaling its vibration, where it exists in something called superposition. Have all of you ever heard of superposition, quantum superposition? You can put it on the chat, or you can, unmic yourself and just say, yeah, okay. So if you're not sure about quantum superposition, you've probably heard, people in movies blah, blah, blahing about it, and it's something about waveform collapse. We're going to get there, so hang tight. Easier way to think about it is by thinking about the multiverse. We're all familiar with the multiverse, whether you have seen Multiverse of Madness or Into the Spider-Verse or home, No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home. They all have to do with different variations of different universes. And different universes, theoretically, according to quantum physics and quantum mechanics and the information that has been coming up lately, exist. They exist at different frequencies. And in each and every universe, there is, and this is where they kind of get it right in the movies and stuff like that, there's a different version of you. There's a version of you that is a street thug. There's a version of you that is a mobster Don. There's a version of you that is a king or a queen or an empress or a slave. Every possibility of every thought that you could have has created a universe where you are that thing. Now, reel this into a little bit to yourself today, who you are, what you want for your life. I am in this position right now, doing this from my home on a Zoom call. What I would love to do, or what I would eventually like to do, is I would like to be on a stage with a giant screen having a panel of attendees that have, I don't know, that are all kind of on the same level. Attendees, people building businesses, building lives, having families, deciding to go no contact when it's necessary, rebuilding relationships after healing, healing from the generational trauma, realizing that they have generational trauma and fixing it. So what I have to do, well, I have to raise my frequency to that. Eventually we'll get there. But how you do that is by doing something that you love. You do something that sparks that joy within you that you can think about and it makes you smile. A lot of people in caring professions have a tendency to, we get often, burnt out a little bit. But when we think about why we got in it is because we want to help people, and helping people makes us smile. When you're in a profession where you provide service, it is that service that you are doing that provides something that makes you smile. If it's just a paycheck, that paycheck hopefully makes you happy so that you can fulfill with your family. So there's your fulfillment. The job in that case is just a tool, and that's fine. And then maybe one day comes along, you've got so much fulfillment that that kind of spills over into that job that you saw was just a tool. And now all of a sudden a new opportunity comes because all of a sudden you're vibrating at a different level at your job. So you've raised it from being here as a tool to being here as something that serves you and that you appreciate being served by. So your vibration elevates little by little by little. And this is how we grow into our riches and our ideal lives and our ideal attraction of abundance and rich, I already said riches, but abundance, happiness, fulfillment. Now, this is easy enough to understand. And thank you, Cindy. We all will. I know we will because we keep working at it. But there are always people, going back to the beginning of what we were talking about, always people that want to tear you down, that want to stop you from finding your fulfillment. They want to stop you from emitting that vibrational frequency of attracting what you want. So I know all of you are probably old enough to have seen the original Willy Wonka with Gene Wilder. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. There is a scene with, absolutely, there is a scene with Mike TV when they're in the squish it down teleportation room, where Mike TV goes onto the portal platform and he gets digitized. And if you recall correctly, you can see throughout that scene all of Mike TV's little bits flying across the room to get to the reception pad over here, where he does get received. This all up here, all these little bits that you can see up here, that is what quantum superposition is. It is every potential possibility of every frequency in existence waiting to be manifested, called into your life, or have its waveform collapsed into your reality. So that is the collapse of wave function that is talked about in quantum mechanics when they're talking about multiverse and manifestation. Just think of it. You've got all these frequencies up here. We can't see them. Where is it? Let me see. I've got to go back to this. The electromagnetic spectrum, which we can only see, the part that we can see as human beings, is basically visible light. So the electromagnetic spectrum runs from 10 to the 5th power to 10 to the 18th power. So that's 10 with 5 zeros after it, all the way up to 10 with 18 zeros after it. Our visual spectrum is from about 10 to the 14th and a half power to, I want to say maybe 10 to the 14th and a quarter to about 10 to the 14th and a half power. So we really can't see jack squat. As as human beings, we don't have the visualization for it, but there are a lot of creatures out there who actually can see like into the infrared spectrum, the ultraviolet spectrum. Reptiles can see ultraviolet light. And bees, I believe, can see infrared and ultraviolet. So it's really cool. But we are blind in this universe of energy. And if the only thing that we can manifest is what we can see, we're screwed, quite frankly. You have to be able to feel. We are energy made manifest, which means that we can feel things. We have been taught to separate our feeling from our thinking, and that's not the way that it's supposed to work. This is where the Hermetic principle of things come in. Hermetic wisdom, mysticism back in the day, Hermes Trismegistus, who was said to have been a scholar out of Atlantis who wrote the Emerald Tablets, basically taught that we as energy are supposed to be able to utilize the full spectrum of energy around us, or that which we vibrate to. And you can feel, this is why love and appreciation and gratitude are so important in the manifestation of things, is because these have the greatest range of explosive area around you to actually latch on to those little pieces of stuff, vibration, manifesting, or hanging around in superposition, that we can start pulling these little instances down one by one. Most of us were not born with silver spoons in our mouths. Most of us were not handed everything on a silver platter and, just taught that there's nothing you can't have. Most of us were taught you got to bust your butt for whatever you want. You have to work for it. You have to want it. And you do have to want it. But nobody tells you, or at least they don't, and we lose the idea as we get older, that it really, really, really matters if you appreciate what you have. If you don't appreciate it, it gets taken away. If you don't appreciate it, you run the risk of losing it and falling, as it were, into a lower frequency or a stagnant frequency where you can't really pull anything down to help benefit and motivate and increase your life. So, keeping that in mind and going back to the people that want to push you down, these people that don't know how to utilize frequency, that don't care, they don't want to. They want to take your energy, they want to take your joy, they want to take everything that you are willing to give them. And they will bleed you energetically dry, is what these people will do. So they're the kind of people that when you go into work, and exactly, damn vampires, absolutely. They're the people that when you go into work and, everybody goes, oh, how was your weekend? And you actually have the temerity, how dare you, to say, well, it wasn't exactly what I expected. This happened and that happened and you know, and it just wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. And if you're lucky, they walk away from you and go, "Oh, I'm sorry," and just kind of like dash because they don't want to hear it because they got their own stuff. Or even make it worse. Well, why didn't you fix it when you first noted it? Why didn't you notice it? How come you didn't have? They start blaming you for the problems that hit you over the weekend, whether or not you had anything to do with them. These are the kind of people that will blame you for being a victim of the flood because maybe you shouldn't have chose to live there. Excuse me? How about how about how about a little sympathy, empathy, human fellow feeling? No, they don't want to do that. They'll blame you for it. They're the same people that again, usually have very little to no joy in their lives, and all they do is complain about things. So There is the idea of stoicism. We're going to go from power of small and vibration and to the hermetic mysticism of the multiverse. This was actually the first quantum physics. The hermetic mysticism was actually the first quantum physics, because if you go to it, quantum physics tells you that everything is vibration, and so does hermetic mysticism. Everything always vibrates. There is the law, there are 7 laws of it. The law of vibration, the all is mental. Everything comes down to mental. It comes down to thought. Thoughts create feelings. Feelings create the vibration creates the reality. If you think something, you may not realize it, but oftentimes, how often have you been in a store or somewhere where you're like, gee, I wonder, God, I could really use a tool that does this, and this. And all of a sudden, you're moving through Walmart or Target or whatever, and you're looking and you're going, son of a bitch, they have that. They have that. Who knew that they had, keypad locks that you could put on your house? I didn't know it until I started looking for a better security system. You know, or until you realize that you didn't have to own a big, huge, multi-billion-dollar business in order to have keypads for locks. But point is that the need up here for it, that vibration, boy, it sure would be nice to have that extra bit of security. Boom, all of a sudden, you're exactly where you need to be, and it's right there. The idea of, y'all remember the old philosophy question, if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a sound? The fact of the matter is it does not make a sound. It makes a vibration. It's our body that interprets that vibration via our hearing organs and makes it a sound that our brain can actually understand. So that vibration, boom, okay. I digress. Getting back to the main topic here, how to deal with the people and the seven laws of Hermetic mysticism and wisdom. I think those should be in that packet too. If not, shoot me an email and let me know, and I can write them out for you, or you can look them up, because you'll open up a whole new era of exploration. And believe me, it's a rabbit hole. The people who don't want you to succeed because they can't succeed, because they won't work to succeed, because they won't try and raise their vibration. They don't know how to. They don't care to. There's a concept called stoicism. And you're going to hear, if you're ever on YouTube, if you're ever listening to any of those podcasts, the men with microphones talking about, how their woman brings their dinner to them on 3 legs while she's crawling on the floor wearing a French maid's uniform, and, her boobs hanging out of a corset, because that's what they want. And she knows she's not gonna get what she wants out of him unless she does that. That's broicism. That is not stoicism. Okay. That's a horrible, horrible thing that's going on right now, that's being utilized and espoused by people who are users and abusers and misogynists, and usually just inhumane generally, for people for whom, or of people for whom, cruelty in existence is the point. They don't have forgiveness. They lack human fellow feeling. Real stoicism comes from some of our earliest philosophers. Marcus Aurelius was I believe, a student of Epictetus. And Epictetus and Diogenes. Diogenes was the guy who was running around with a lamp during the daytime looking for an honest man. His whole thing was pointing out the hypocrisy of the aristocracy, by running around during the daylight looking for an honest man. The aristocracy at the time espoused virtuous living, being an upright citizen, and yet in their private lives, they engaged in lascivious, debauched behavior. that went against everything that was the nature of what they were espousing outwardly. So it was very much do as I say, not as I do. And Diogenes liked to use his little lantern and rub their faces in it just a little bit. But these guys, these ancient philosophers, focused on three aspects of study primarily, many more, but the primary three fell into either physics, a study of the physical world that they knew of at the time, ethics, and logic. And they utilized these three principles in order to measure their responses to the world around them, to what was going on around them. One of their, I believe it was Marcus Aurelius, both Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus were big at espousing the virtue of knowing what you can and cannot control and seeking only to control what you can. Your own opinion, your own reaction to something going on, your own impression. So until you have information, you wanted to know, you need to know what's going on around you and ethically and morally how your behavior could affect those around you. And logically, what is the most beneficial action, if any, that you can take in any given circumstance. So the long and short of it, I know too late already, I apologize. The long and short of it is, in order to protect yourself from these people, these naysayers, these energy vampires, yeah, going back to that, is to remember to keep your own counsel. If you have something that is really, and I love this word, vexing you in your life, a problem, and you don't trust your supervisor, but your supervisor calls you in to say, hey, your performance is a little bit weird. What's been going on? And you don't trust that person. You don't tell that person. You keep your counsel. You know you can't trust them because you've seen them gossiping at the water cooler. You've heard them talking bad about some, Hans Yankel Winkelschmidt down over in the cubicles. And you don't trust them to keep your information sacred and secret. So what do? You basically say, tell me what you've noticed and I will work on changing that. How do you want me to change that? Focus on the actual issue at hand. You don't need to tell them what's going on. Keep your own counsel. There will be people, if you are lucky, and hopefully most of you are, you have somebody with whom you can confide almost anything, where you can say to them, I really need a genuine opinion, a logical opinion, because I'm too close to this. And I trust you to give that to me. You're not asking for pet. You're not asking for emotional validation. You're not asking for ego stroking. In that particular case, you are asking the people who are on the same vibrational level as you, hopefully, or real close to it, that to give you a logical, ethical, moral breakdown of whatever your conundrum is based on their understanding and your similar understanding of the world as it pertains to you, so that you can be on the same wavelength and you know that they'll keep your counsel. But other than that, keep it to yourself. Journal. You can go to a professional. If you have a counseling professional, go to that person. They're duty bound to keep things private, unless, of course, you talk about divulging intention to harm yourself or others, in which case they are usually bound to act on your behalf or on behalf of anybody that you're intending to hurt. So don't do that. It's illogical anyway. Is this making sense to all of you? If you could, just pop a little yes or no in there, and if not, just go, yeah, I don't get it, or yeah, it is. I think I already knew a lot of this because you already do. You do know this stuff. Thank you. You do know this stuff. It is already a part of you, especially those of you who are here today. You've been through this, you've lived through this, you've seen every aspect of it, but hopefully this is one of those rare times where you've had science and mysticism and philosophy coming together to be that unified field theory of the human. So, not to borrow from physics too much, but that unified concept of all the tools that we are supposed to be using, that we embody as human beings, that we have been taught to splinter ourselves off into all these little fragments so that we can't bring all this together to be cohesive as individuals. And if we can't do that, then we can't achieve what our soul, our energy is meant to achieve. We cannot be what we need to be for ourselves if we can't utilize all these things in one place. And the world is not meant to allow you to utilize all these things. It's meant to keep you separated, to keep you distracted, to keep you chasing whatever the Joneses have in order to keep up with them, or the Kardashians. Yeah, I know. Sorry. That's my own little pettiness right there. I apologize. But we're not meant to keep up with the Joneses. We are meant to utilize this place as an educational system to make ourselves better, to vibrate higher, to become closer and closer to, this is going to sound religious. I am not a religious person, to source. And we're getting really, really close. So I'm going to go with one more thing. Let me explain source. And that is in Hermetic mysticism and wisdom. The first rule is that the all is mental. Now, I'm going to kind of throw this little brain twister at you. The all, in many religions, a lot of people think God is everything. Right. So there's this big argument, oh, well, the Big Bang over here. Well, if the Big Bang was nothing, then where did God come from? Who created God? The Hermetic wisdom speaks of all of existence, not a deity sitting on a cloud pointing a finger, trying to, do a Chinese finger puzzle with Adam over here. The universe itself is mental. It is consciousness. There is nothing outside of the universe because there can be nothing outside of that consciousness if that consciousness is the all. And everything in the universe is of the all, but it is not the all, and that includes us. So the idea is that, and there's a lot of people that'll espouse this idea, that the universe has broken itself into bazillions of little infinite number of pieces so that it can learn everything that it possibly can about every circumstance in existence, every circumstance from every position in existence, so that it can analyze in its own way the quantum superposition of its own consciousness. And we are just pieces of that consciousness, striving to obtain as much information and to learn as much about being corporeal and what it takes to get back to being that pure energy that is consciousness. Now, did I foobar that, or does it make sense? So All right, so I see a little bit of yes, it makes sense, which is great. Now, are there any questions? Any questions so far? Anything that you want to talk about that you want to get some more information on? See, I told you it would. I told you it would make sense. I'm just hoping that I didn't screw up the delivery too much, but you guys get the point. Um, Keeping your own counsel will protect you from the energy vampires. Learning how to tolerate silence and solitude are of paramount importance. Thank you. I'm still working. I'm working on it. Sorry. Silence and solitude are actually where you will forge the sword and shield that will protect your peace, your sovereignty, and your access to your power. The world we live in is made to distract you. Music, construction, scrolling. For the love of God, the scrolling. Oh my God. Turn it off for 5 minutes. No TV, no radio. If you can't do it because you live with other people, go sit in your car. 5 minutes. Don't turn on the engine. Put up the windshield blind so that nobody can see you sitting in your car and going, this is too quiet. I can't handle this. It's too quiet. What do I do? Try it for a minute at a time if you can't tolerate it. We've been so sensitized to the idea of silence that it scares the crap out of us because silence is where you will face yourself, where you will run those conversations through your head, the ones that made you feel like this, the ones that I should have done better, I should have said better, I should have done this. And when you exhaust all that, finally, when you pay attention to all those things running in your head, keeping you busy, keeping you insane or on the edge of sanity, and you give them the attention they deserve. I did the best I could. I can't go back and change it. I can't re-say it. I can't take back the words. I will learn and do better next time. I will think next time. I will take a breath before I respond next time. Once you acknowledge those little bits and pieces, you'll find that all those little things, they start flying away like clouds in the sky, and you are left with peace. Just you and peace. And your thoughts, just let them by. Don't cling to them. Let them fly. The ones that matter will come back to you when you're ready to face them and deal with them or manage them. In a lot of cases, this is where Jung said, you will meet your shadow self in this silence. And your shadow self is usually the one who tries to do things that stop you from manifesting what you want. And this takes work. If you're into self-improvement or anything like that, you've probably heard the word Kundalini. You've probably heard the word enlightenment. You've probably heard the word, again, because of me, also frequency elevation or higher vibration. Or I've had a revelation. These things take time and effort and energy to do them properly. Kundalini is the release of energy from all your chakras, all 7 of your chakras in your body, so that it flows freely from one to the next. You can't rush that. If you rush that, you will probably have a nervous breakdown, quite frankly. There was a yogi who for 15 years meditated, dedicated every single day to integrate the shadow parts of himself, to release positive energies, to absorb and take in and soothe those parts of himself that he felt were less than optimal toward humanity. And one day he had a massive, massive release of Kundalini energy all the way up and down from his root chakra to his crown chakra. It was as if he had been a giant egg cracked open on the ground and everything spilled out. He spent the next 10 years trying to get himself back together again so that he could function properly because it was too much to handle. So, when you do something like this, when you seek something like this, raising your vibration, when you seek energetic release, when you seek to embrace your shadow self, at least one aspect of it, every different aspect of it, because we all have a lot of them, it has to be done with reverence to yourself. You may have a little bit of a heat wave for us ladies in our menopausal age range. We call it a personal summer. I'm just saying, a little hot flash running up the back, a little sweat breaks out on the back of your neck. Oh, maybe that's what menopause is all about. I don't know, but I'll get there someday with the understanding of it. Um, you'll get a sudden flash of insight, but most of the time, what you're going to get when you start dealing with silence, when you start appreciating the silence and the solitude and the serenity of your personal space, is you're going to be able to embrace your power. You're going to be able to embrace your inner strength, and you're going to find that you are far stronger with your shield and sword of silence than you ever were when you tried to communicate justifications, when you tried to explain yourself, when you tried to answer to accusations. You don't need to, because the people that will attack you are showing their nature, not your nature. Keep your nature sacred to yourself. You don't respond. You don't defend yourself. The people who know you, and they know what you're like. You don't play into their games. Their games are meant to distract you, to keep you off balance, to make you emotional. And emotional is erratic. Emotions are erratic. So the stoicism we're talking about is you cannot control what other people think about you. You cannot control what they say about you. You cannot control what they tell others about you. You cannot control what they do, for the most part. You control what you do. You control your opinions. You control your actions, and you control what you say, and you control your reactions to other people. And the easiest reaction is to remain silent if somebody charges you with something. If they charge you with being not team player, watch them. Are they actually doing any team playing, or are they trying to disrupt? Are they causing problems, causing waves? So these are the first four pillars. The fifth pillar, failure. Don't be afraid of it. Failure is only failure when you stop trying. It is not a failure if you shift your position to try something different in order to obtain the same goal. That's called a stepping stone. Failure is not a failure unless you completely abandon the project, in which case, sometimes that's okay. You have to. You have to abandon something sometimes in order to make room for something better to come in. And that is a learning experience. No failure, so long as it is a learning experience, is wasted. It is a success because it makes you one step closer to success. You have used a stepping stone out of something that didn't work the first time. Thomas Edison, 10,000 light bulbs, 10,000 attempts to make a light bulb, so the story goes. Failed 9,999 times. But on the 10,000th one, bang, he got it. That was the light bulb that stayed, and that was our first incandescent light bulbs. So how many times did he have to tweak various things before he finally got what he wanted? He got it. Each one was a stepping stone. Use the same idea in your own life. Keep your own counsel as often as you can. And just when they're coming after you, when they're trying to knock you off your stride, off your game, silence. A person who can sit in silence in a meeting that's going crazy, or a person who can sit in silence when somebody's yelling at you, you have the power. That is where your power lies. Your shield and your sword are both made of the strength that comes from your ability to withstand silence, because you're solid up here, you're solid in here, and they are floundering for something to throw at you, but you've got it. Those are the 5 pillars of foundational techniques to begin to empower yourself for the rest of your life. And you will pick up what you need as you go. As you fall down the rabbit hole, glide down the rabbit hole, or just poke a flashlight down there every now and again, you will find what you need when you need it, because that is the vibration that you are putting out now. So if you have questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat, or feel free to unmic yourself or unmute yourself and ask out loud. I would love to hear anything that you've got to say. If you have suggestions, please, please, please let me know. Critiques, comments, I'm open. And I'm always happy to hear what you have to say. Again, go to, let me put it in the chat here. HTTPS. Oh my God. There we go. There's a link to my website. Go ahead and that'll take you right to the store page, and go to the, you'll see it on the left-hand side, the Explorer version of Thrive Empowered for Life packet. Go ahead and grab one. And if you want to talk to me at any given time, just my email address is, I see, make sure I spelled it right, carltonauthor@gmail.com. Yeah, and there's only one period in there, I think. So, okay. I don't know, my glasses don't work. I got, oh, wow, wow. I can see you. That's weird. All right, so feel free to shoot an email my direction. Thank you very, very much for being here. Again, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I am delighted that you all came here. Very, very much. And gave me this opportunity to share with you what I've been working on for the past easily going on a year now, ever since I finished book 5 of my Heroes of the Line series. So I thank you all very, very much, and have a wonderful Saturday. Thank you for being here on a Saturday, and love, gratitude, and love and light. And if you are in the Austin area, I will be at Nature's Treasures, the new location, 11055 North 35, I-35, on Saturday, the 19th, from 12 to 5 for their Midsummer Market, or the Cool Witches Midsummer Market, where I will be doing some affirmation tarot and some mini coaching. So, love to see you stop by. Other than that, thank you very much for coming. Awesome. All right, thank you all.
Hi.
If you want to hang out until 12:30, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to hang out till 12:30 in case anybody wants to, so you just want to chat.
That was very enlightening. Thank you, Jill.
So thank you. Did it make sense?
Awesome. Yes, ma'am.
Cool. Thank you, Lainey.
It
Ay, ay, ay.
you really hit you've really hit the main points of what it takes to keep going forward.
It's not easy. My
And
God,
you
it's not
know,
easy.
no, it's not. But if if we keep reminding ourselves of those things,
Yeah.
uh, affirmations really do work.
They do. They do. That's why I decided to use affirmations as tarot instead of the tarot cards. Everybody can do tarot. It's a dime a dozen. I don't read, you know I don't read it well. You know I have to use the book for
I don't
tarot.
know. I thought you did pretty good back in the day when we were doing that. You
I'm
hit
getting
several
slightly
things
better though.
uh, right on the head of the nail. So yeah, don't shortchange yourself, kiddo.
Gosh, shucks, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been,
No, but this you really put that together with an explanation of you know of pulling it together as to why it is all about vibration.
yeah.
It really is. And I think I've lived on vibrations for a long time. And
Yes,
over the
ma'am.
years, I've managed to improve them. And I still have a long way of more improvement to go.
Yeah.
You know,
You, you and me both.
it's gotten me through some tough times of, you know, and if you believe in your vibrations and you really put that to work,
Yeah.
what you need will come into your life at the right time when you need it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm,
I have proof of that in my own life. I mean,
yeah.
things have
And,
happened that on a plane that most people could understand, I would call a miracle.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I understand entirely. The hardest part is letting go of the control. Trying to control the aspects and make it happen instead of
Well, you,
just letting it come.
it stops it.
Yeah.
The more you
It,
try to control it, the the, the less it happens.
that's exactly right. So when I go into when I'm actually doing the full on um, uh, uh, um, keynote or workshop, I can actually get into all that and I can get into the history of all this stuff. I have a 95-page version of the workbook that goes through an inordinate amount of all the histories and so much of this. It's been so much wonderful research, but it's been very humbling. It's been very humbling. But yeah, I'm with you 100% on the letting go, letting go and just letting it flow. That old let it go, let it flow thing. It's just it's so true. And it's hard to keep that vibration high when you're being buffeted and swept and rocked back and forth, and you're sometimes your head is underwater, but it's almost as if you can keep your eyes up
Yep,
to
yep.
that vibration,
And if
that
you
that
can
little bit
just
of a
keep saying,
touch.
I can do this.
Yeah,
I can do this. This
yeah,
is what I need. This is what I want. And I will make this happen. And the positiveness is important.
yeah.
It really is. And I have made a practice, and it's been for survival, but it falls right into what you're teaching. Every morning, I make a list of what I'm blessed with
Mhm.
and what what I want to see happen
Yeah.
just for that day.
Mhm.
Don't go any further than I've learned to live hour by hour. over the last several years because it's called survival, but it's kept me positive enough to be able to be where I am today, which is a better place than I've been in a really, really long time. But
Ah,
it all falls into all the principles you just sat there and talked about. You've nailed it, girl. You've nailed it. Spread the message, spread it to the world.
thank you. I'm little by little. Um, from what
I always
I'm,
knew you'd be totally successful.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, what I would like to do, or what eventually I am going to do, is I've been talking with Nance, the event coordinator over at Nature's Treasures,
Hmm.
and this new place is going to have bigger event areas.
Oh,
So rooms where they'll have tarot readings, they'll have massage therapy, they'll have maybe Reiki therapy and stuff like that, but they'll also have almost like a little auditorium type of deal. So what I would
uh-huh,
like to do at some point in time is get to the point where I'm enough of a familiar face over there where some of the patrons, the regular patrons will come on in and where I can start saying, you know what, I'm going to be doing an hour and a half or 2 hour presentation on this day. And it's a, pay what you think it's worth thing. So, here's my Venmo QR code, here's my PayPal QR code, pay what you think it's worth. So, I want to get to the point where I start doing that. And I'm also working through the Speakers Lab. So I got my certification as a public speaker. I know he
good
has a
for
lot of
you.
but thank you. And I
Awesome.
got my certification as a wellness coach. So I got that last December.
Good for
So
you.
thank you. It's been long, but it's been so worth it. So worth it. It's just amazing.
And you're helping so many people.
I hope to. I hope to.
That's what you
Eventually, yeah, I want to get there where I can get to other places and speak for women in aviation, women in engineering, for people who have escaped abusive relationships and don't know how to
want.
start regaining themselves and their own power. So that type of deal.
That's
So that's
awesome.
yeah.
I'm glad we're reconnecting, kiddo.
Me too. Me too.
Oh,
I
it's
have
been
missed you
just
so much. I've
crazy.
thought about you every day,
I think
sending
about you all the time. I've never
sending
forgotten
those
you.
sending those healing, happy, good vibes, prosperity vibes to you.
I'm doing all right, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I,
Well, I've had
um,
word from, when I talked to, Courtney and stuff like that. I was talking about, um,
still
looking
doing
into,
their books.
huh?
I'm still doing David's.
Mm-hmm.
He's, I've been working with him since what, 2016, I think, that I've been doing their books. And I've picked up a couple more of their real estate people that I do books
Excellent.
for too. I'm kind of Rusty Properties bookkeeper.
That is excellent.
Yeah,
That's one leg of the stability right there. So,
yeah.
yeah, and they're good people, so
And you
you know
do
you're
know
working.
Courtney has two sets of twins.
Two sets of twins.
You know, well, no, one set of twins. Say she
Oh
had the
yeah,
two boys,
right.
and then
Yeah,
the
and then
last
she's got the
go
two
around,
girls.
she had a set of she had girls, and it was a
Yeah.
set of twins. So she's got twin girls and then the two boys.
I actually I had gone down to visit her not too long after the girls were born. So I did get a chance to meet them and I brought her a little, a little
Oh,
hello
listen,
and I brought some little nighties and stuff like that.
I
But
keep up
they're
with her in
just cute as can
Facebook because
be.
she's so damn busy all the time. But those kids are awesome.
They are. They are
They really
great, great kids. So,
are. Yeah. So
yeah.
and Matt, her husband, he was a member of a flying club for airplanes. He flies airplanes or did, and they needed a bookkeeper, and he got me into doing the books for the flying club. He's not a member anymore, but I'm still doing their books. So I mean,
Heck,
it's funny how it all kind of connects. Um, I found Courtney through you. I got David through Courtney. I got Candace through Courtney. I got um, her company is EP10. Britt is from David Brodsky. And
mhm.
then I got the flying club from Matt, Courtney's husband. I mean, I've got this network. And then one of my major clients who has become a really special friend uh, through Courtney, because he just happened to be talking to her and telling his sad story. And she said, "Oh, you really need to talk to my bookkeeper." And I ended up with Sam. Uh,
Nice.
Sam and David were actually and my the CPA I work with, Mickey. He's my solid guy. I got him from way back when I worked with Snowden, and they were Sam was actually a pallbearer for us.
Yes, I remember you telling me that.
Tall, slender guy,
Yeah, I remember you telling me that at the funeral. So yeah.
and
But
he
there's your
is
vibration right there.
he's just he has just been awesome.
Good.
Um, through him, and we did a trade thing because of the work he needed done was unbelievable money wise. And so, being in the landscaping and construction business, I
Mm.
was able to trade out and got the outside of my house redone
Nice.
because it was falling down around my ears.
Congratulations.
And it
Yeah.
was either that or at some point the rotten wood was going to go out.
Oof. Yeah.
And they, he, we just traded out and it worked out fine.
That's fabulous.
And when he sold his business, he started another one. So I'm still doing books for him, but he sold his business, and the people who bought his business, I started doing their books, which I'm not doing anymore. I moved them into someone who that they needed someone more hands on,
Gotcha.
and as a thank you, uh, Sam put up a fence for me. Uh, I have a wrought
Nice.
iron fence on the side and back that is totally secure.
Nice.
Thank you. Honest to God, if I'd have had it, and the wooden fence I had already fallen down. It was
Ugh.
already a mess.
They go so fast though.
And he called me up one day and he said, "I don't want you to get excited if you see two guys working on your yard tomorrow. I'm sending them over to put a fence up." And
Uh,
I said, "What's that going to cost me?" And he said, "Oh, this is my thank you."
oh,
And yeah, he totally paid for having that fence put up. It's a
that
thank
is
you. That
wonderful.
was a nice bonus for,
Definitely.
to help him. But yeah,
Definitely.
I mean, yes, the vibrations that be. Thank you, God,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
I do believe, as you know, I do. And
Oh, absolutely.
then
But you
also,
also put it out there.
yeah,
Lainey, no matter what language you use, it all really is the same thing. You
it
know
is.
that.
It is.
So, you know,
Like whatever name you want to call it, that's where it's at, you know.
exactly.
And so, yeah, Jill, I've been very blessed. All those hard years that I had taking care of Vic, I had so many special people help me and be there for me. I know I'm blessed by it. And I thank the powers that be and all my vibrations every single day.
Excellent. Well, it shows. It shows. But yeah, as they say, God works in mysterious ways and on his own
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. And it's the
So
same thing.
it's great. Life is life is good.
I'm so glad.
Some challenges in it. I'll admit I have plenty of challenges,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I get through them. You
But
know,
it wouldn't be any fun without the challenges, or the rewards would not feel as sweet, or would not be as sweet without the challenges. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'll take that end of it because it's not fun.
No. Oh, no. No, no, no.
But it lets me enjoy what is fun.
Definitely. And that's where that's where we keep
I,
growing. We keep growing and going forward with that. So
yep, yep.
it's been, yeah, it's been,
I,
yeah.
yeah, I need to
That's
let
kind of
you
all I
go.
can say.
You go help Vic, and I just don't want to turn you loose.
You know what? I send you love and I send you big hugs. Oh, oh, big hugs for both of you. Give each other hugs for me and kisses for me. Will you please? Thank you. Thank you for
I'm
coming.
putting this on my calendar for next Saturday, though. I'm going to do my best to be out there.
I would love to see you there. I would absolutely love to see you there. Because I remember the first, little workshop we worked together there long, long, long time
Really?
ago. I still got the pictures of it.
Oh,
So
yeah,
I do,
we've
I
had
do.
times.
Huh?
Last question, I'll let you go because
Yes, ma'am.
honestly, I think about it from time to time more often than you know. How is your brother?
One foot on a banana peel and the other foot in a grave.
Bless him.
Somebody has to.
Well, I pray for him all the time. Actually,
Thank you.
we're both in my prayers all the time and have been forever.
Thank you.
But
Likewise.
one of
Likewise.
the, one of the best times of my life was the trip that you and I went to Chicago.
We had a great time.
We had a great time, and I thoroughly enjoyed your brother, although he probably thought I was some weirdo. But
No, 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 no. I'm his sister, so no, there's nothing weirder. There's nothing weirder. But on that note, I will tell him you said hi and that you send
please
love
do.
and love back. The love never goes away, just so you know.
Never, never.
Never goes away. Give each other big hugs and kisses, and I hope to see you next Saturday. If not, I know you'll be there in heart and spirit.
Always.
All right. I love you,
Love
Lainey.
you.
Bye. Rachel, thank you for coming. I hope you had a good experience here. And I hope to hear from you if you have any questions. Thank you very, very much for being here. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.